Hey guys, MacronMen here, and today I'm going to be going over, not necessarily strategy, but some, a basic tactic for doing well on a survival multiplayer server in Space Engineers, and how you can, bring your faction to success throughout the game. So, basically I've split this up into, I don't know, 4 sections, and the first and most important part, I would say, for this plan is that you have to, once you get into space in a multiplayer server, that tends to be an area where a lot of, I don't know, people could have difficulties because you can get raided a lot more often, and you have a lot more resources, so you have more to lose. So something you can do is to print up your ships often. So instead of hand building ships, so most people already know this, but you can use projectors and welders. Um, and in this case, I just have a small little welder here, so uh, let's bring my welder down. So this isn't necessarily as effective as saying using a welder wall. That'd be a lot better. But basically you can just build the ship 10 times as fast because okay, so the thing's rotating now, but you can see how quickly this builds compared to you know having to build everything manually yourself. So I'm gonna delete this because this doesn't drift off. But the basic idea is that you get a lot of expendable ships. So for this example, I have this ship, and it is very weak. So if I get a welder out, um, it's heavy armor, except on certain parts. So this part is light armor. That's just to save cost. So this ship is kind of junk. You wouldn't want to use this in a, like, I don't know, a big war or anything. Um, but it's good for expendable things and when you just need to, you know, send a bunch of ships at an enemy because you have a bunch of players in your faction. Because it's better to have 2 of these than to have one big ship such as this. Um, if you don't have enough ships for your players, because otherwise you're just having players that are just controlling turrets, and that's kind of pointless. So that's kind of the second stage of being on a server. So you can have a bunch of these. Oh, there we go. Yeah, a bunch of these, doesn't matter. Or you could have a bunch of different ships that are just all light ships like that, because everyone will want their own ship. And then on to this third stage. So this ship is a lot heavier. So as you can see, it's this part's light armor, but everything else is heavy armor. That's just cosmetic part. And this is all to, I don't know, protect the internals of the ship. So if we go inside here, this ship is a lot more complicated than the other one. I didn't show you the interior for the other, but it's basically empty. It's just kind of a shell to place turrets on and not look ugly. Um, but this one looks really bad. So this is like a gravity drive. We have a large reactor, a lot of amenities that we didn't have in the old ship. You can go in here. I got this like LCD here. That's not really important. The ship even has a grav cannon. So as you expand, um, you're not going to want junk ships anymore because you have way more resources. So you can afford to make a lot more expensive ships that are more experimental, and you can have every teammate building their own large ship. And then the last stage for survival multiplayer is like motherships or really large ships. So what I mean by this is technically you could constitute it as a military ship, but it has a lot less turrets than say this one. Still has a good amount of turrets, but the defining feature of the ship is that it's durable. So everything is heavy armor, um, and the like engines are more protected. So even if you did shoot out the engines, all the internals of the ship, other than the medbay here, but that could be remedied, are basically behind 2 layers of armor. So you have to go into the second area. Now it's light armor, but it's still armor. And you get into like passageways and ducts, and they have all the important materials. But these ships are so large, it can still have a um, good-looking interior. So in this case, if you go down here, you get to a passageway. So that's something you can do once you get very wealthy in Space Engineers, is have motherships that have large internals. So as I fly back out here, those are basically the 4 steps or so to succeeding in survival multiplayer in Space Engineers.